As a divorce dad, you have the best intentions for your kids. But what if some of the habits you've fallen into are the very things causing them stress? Research consistently shows that it's not the divorce itself that hurts the kids the most, but the ongoing unresolved conflicts they're caught in. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on 5 common co-parenting habits that might be silently hurting your child. And I'll give you the simple, actionable steps you can take to start changing them today. Now, if you want to make sure you don't miss future content like this, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's be honest, guys. Co-parenting is one of the hardest jobs on the planet, even when you're happily married, but especially so for a man navigating life after divorce, like you and like me. Because you're trying to close a major chapter of your life while building a brand new and totally different relationship with your child's mother, all for your kids. And as a men's coach who specializes in working with divorced dads, I've seen firsthand how easy it is to slip into damaging patterns, even when you're full of love for your children and want what's best. And listen to this, and it's important for you to understand. The quality of your co-parenting relationship is a massive factor in your child's well-being. It's not the only thing that matters, of course. Your individual relationship, for example, with your child is vital, but a supportive co-parenting dynamic acts like a powerful protective factor for them. The good news? You have the power to make it better, and it doesn't require your ex to change first. It starts with you, your mindset, and your leadership. And today we're going to break down the 5 common co-parenting habits that can unintentionally harm your child. And I'll give you the practical tips you need to lead your family towards peace now and in the future. And to help you with that, be sure to download the free guide to co-parenting communication at the link in the description below. The first and one of the most damaging habits is using your child as the go-between. It seems harmless. Tell your mom I'll be 10 minutes late. Ask your mom if she paid for the field trip. It might feel easier than texting or emailing your ex, especially if you're in a tense relationship right now. But you're placing a huge weight on your child's shoulders. Why is it harmful? Well, I want you to consider that when you use your child to pass messages, you're forcing them into the middle of adult business, and they have nothing to do with it. This isn't just awkward for them, it's psychologically damaging. It makes them feel responsible not just for passing the message and what the message is, but for how the message is delivered and for any conflict that follows. And they start to worry, will mom be mad at me for telling the truth? Or will dad get upset with her answer? And this creates a constant state of anxiety where your child is always bracing for a fight, even when you don't ask him anything. And let's be real here, guys. Kids aren't reliable couriers for adult information in any ways. They forget details, mix things up, or misinterpret the tone, which can spark brand new arguments. Do you really need that? And over time, where it leads is being a messenger makes a child feel less like a kid and more like a pawn. It can break down their sense of security and, in the worst cases, contribute to parental alienation if the messages are negative. So what's the practical solution to that? Well, the practical solution to this is non-negotiable. All communication about schedules, about money, about parenting decisions has to happen directly between you and your ex. Take leadership. And the best way to do this is face-to-face, followed with a written message, like by email. This way you can both agree verbally together, clearing potential misunderstanding and misinterpretations, and confirm by a written word. If that is not a possibility because, for example, the tension between the two of you, well, you could use a mediator, and worst comes to worst, just do it by writing. However, be ready for a possible misunderstanding if you do it by writing. You can also look into co-parenting apps, and these tools are built to keep your messages, calendars, and expenses in one business-like place. Some even have features to flag hostile language, which helps keep everyone accountable. If an app isn't going to work, you can even create a dedicated email address just for co-parenting. This separates it from your personal life and helps you approach it with the right mindset, knowing when you're going to open the messages for toxic messages perhaps, and when you're just going to give it on silent. You can save text for true emergencies or time-sensitive updates only, not for big discussions. If you've been stuck in a text war with your ex, I have created a special course that teaches you how to use artificial intelligence to reestablish peace. You will learn how to create messages, how to read between the lines of her text, and how to respond appropriately. And just watch how within weeks or months, peace is being restored. The link to that course is in the description. Now, regardless of the tool that you're going to select here, by taking your child out of the middle, you give them the gift of just being a kid. And if your co-parenting relationship is tense right now, I want you to know that you can build a better relationship with her in just a few months so that you can shield your kids from past conflicts. Just like a client of mine, Tyson, who went from talking exclusively through lawyers for 4 years before starting to work with me, and just a few months after starting to work with me, he developed a friendly relationship with his ex. He couldn't believe that it happened. But you can hear it from the horse's mouth direct.
At this point in time, before I started this, there was little to no communication between me and the mother to my children, like at all. There was no trust and there was no mutual understanding either, because you couldn't get there because there was no communication. At this point in time, I was seeing my kids at a visitation center, supervised, and heck, I didn't even know what grade my children were in for a year. I didn't know where they were going to school. I didn't know who their friends or teachers were. So I know stuff like that now. I know what kind of activities they're doing. I know, where they're struggling and where I can pray for them and how I can show up. Now I'm seeing them supervised with the mother of my children as the supervisor. The mother to my children, she shares a lot about the kids throughout the week. Just our son made a friend the other day, and she shared with me in detail how excited he was when he told her he made a friend at summer camp and all this stuff. So communication is probably 50 times better than it was. So I believe there's been safety, some trust restored. Communication is much, much better. And then the cherry on top is that, yeah, we joke and we're playful and share things about our day. We share things that aren't about the children, which is crazy to me.
If you like Tyson's story, remember that this could be you. If you want to reach out to work with me directly, the link is in the description. The second habit is talking negatively about your child's mom when your child can hear you. And this isn't just about direct insults. It's the sarcastic comments, the critical tone, or even just frustrated sigh or an eye roll when her name comes up. For example, you could be talking with a relative or with a friend about her and even just making a joke about her, and kids notice everything. Why is it harmful? Well, this is one of the deeply painful experiences for a child, because your child is one half you and one half their mother, regardless how much you like her or not. So when you criticize her, your child hears it as a criticism of a part of themselves, and a big part of themselves. It puts them in an impossible loyalty bind. If they agree with you, they feel like they're betraying their mom. If they defend their mom, they risk upsetting you. If you were in their shoes, how would you act? So it's a lose-lose situation that creates incredible stress for them. This behavior, also called undermining, directly harms your child's relationship with their mother and teaches them that relationships are about blame. Imagine how they will lead their relationship in adulthood. Furthermore, long-term exposure to this negativity is a major form of parental conflict, which is strongly linked to anxiety, depression, and behavioral issues in kids. You've been warned. Now, it's easy to say for divorced dads like you and me, like, well, she's doing this. And she's doing it all the time. I do it only a couple of times here and there. It's like, well, if she's allowed to create damage on my kids, I should be too. It doesn't make any sense. So this behavior needs to stop. So if this stops, what are we going to replace it with? The fix here takes emotional discipline. And let me be clear on this. No one wants to do this kind of work. But I want you to consider, do you really have a choice? This is a core part of a mindset work. You need to build a firewall. Your personal feelings about your ex, all the anger, hurt, frustration, resentment, no matter how justified they have to be firewalled off from your role as a co-parent. I know it's hard, but you can do this. First, make a pact with yourself. You will not speak negatively about your co-parent in front of your child. For me, the pact I made is this. I will communicate with respect and consideration at all times with the mothers to my kids and about them with my kids. Period. Now, if you need to vent, call a friend, talk to a therapist or a coach, find a support group, but never use your child as a confidant. Second, practice speaking about your co-parent in a neutral or even positive light. Yes, you heard that correctly. Regardless how much you believe she hurt you and she's in the wrong. And just to be clear, you don't have to fake being best friends. Just find something true and respectful. There are those aspects too. Find them. For example, your mom is great at helping you with your art projects or with your homework, or she's great at loving you, or she's a great cook, whatever else. Your mom planned a really fun trip for you. This gives your child permission to love both of you openly. Third, if your child complains about their mom, validate their feelings without validating the criticism or their story. What does it mean? Instead of saying, "See, I told you she was disorganized," you can say, "Wow, it sounds like that was really frustrating for you." Do you see the nuance? One is focused on judging their mother. The other one talks about their experience and empathizing with their emotions and their feelings, regardless whether it was with their mom, their dog, their friend, or whomever else there was, like a teacher or something. This practice supports your child's emotions without dragging them back into the conflict. The third habit is having completely different rules and routines between your two homes. One house is all about strict bedtimes and homework, while the other is a free-for-all. You limit screen time, but she has no limits at all, or vice versa. Some difference is normal, but a total lack of consistency can feel chaotic for a child. Why is it so harmful? Well, there is abundant research that shows that kids do best with predictability and structure. It helps them feel secure. When the rules are widely different, it can create confusion and anxiety. It can also create a fun parent versus strict parent dynamic, which may lead to kids favoring the more lenient house and cause resentment between you and their mom. However, it's important to clarify something here. While major differences can be stressful, research also suggests that children are adaptable and can learn to navigate different rules in different homes. So the real danger of major inconsistency is that it often becomes another source of conflict between the parents. And it's that conflict that is so damaging to the kids. So what's the practical solution here? Well, the goal isn't to become parenting clones for each other. That's impossible, and you're two different people. Why would you do that? The goal is for you to lead the effort to agree on a set of core, big picture rules that apply in her home and in your home, so that you guys can reduce conflict and create a stable foundation for your kids to thrive and to grow. You can set up a business-like meeting with your co-parent. If the situation is tense, maybe through a mediator. The topic could be core household rules. What you want to do is focus only on the kids. No personal stories, no personal drama. And what you want is try to identify 3 to 7 foundational rules you can both live with. If it's the first meeting, make it short and focus only on 3. If the experience proves to be productive and interesting, you can later refine for more. What you want to do is cover the big things: school night bedtimes, for example, homework expectation, and major discipline issues. Now, I'm going to tell you right over the bat, you won't agree on everything, and that's okay. There is no need to force the agreement. What you want in this is build a dynamic of sharing information and of cooperation. Maybe one of you is stricter about junk food. That's not a core rule you have to die on. But agreeing that homework gets done before video games, or that speaking respectfully is non-negotiable in both homes, well, that's a united front. And this provides the stability your child needs to feel secure, no matter which parent they're with. And by the way, if you want to learn how to create powerful routines with your kids, I created a video just for you, and the link is in the description. Habit 4, making the child your spy. Now look, this next one is subtle, but really corrosive. And it's pumping your child for information about your ex's life. It can be a direct question like, does your mom have a new boyfriend? Or more sneaky like, so what did you do all weekend? Who else was there? What they talk about? Why is this harmful? Well, this puts your child right back in the middle. forcing them to be a spy in their own family. Listen, I come from Soviet Union. We were trained to be spies in our family. I can tell you it creates huge trauma and it's very toxic. It's another loyalty nightmare. If they tell you what you want, they feel like they're betraying their mom. If they don't tell you, they risk your disappointment or frustration. And that pressure is a heavy burden and a shortcut to anxiety. The child starts to censor what they share with you. Instead of being excited to tell you about their weekend, they become guarded and stressed, try to edit their story so they don't say the wrong thing. And this really shatters the open, honest communication you need with your child. Eventually, they're coming home, and to all your questions, they just provide you with one-word answers. Maybe that's already the case. Fine, good, nothing, okay, bye. Because it teaches them that a parent's love is conditional on the information they can provide. What's the solution to this? Well, the solution isn't a mindset shift, once again under your control. You must respect that your child's time with their mother is their time. It's not your chance to gather intel. When your child comes home, ask open-ended child-focused questions. Instead of, what did your mom do? Try, what was the most fun part of your weekend? Instead of, who was at the house? Ask, did you have a good time playing with your friends? Focus on their feelings and their experience, not on their mother's. Now, if you have a legitimate need for information, like something about your child's welfare, well, that's an adult conversation to have directly with your co-parent through your communication channel. It's never your child's job to report back to you. Respecting that boundary shows your child that your love is unconditional. The final habit I want to bring to your attention is turning co-parenting into competition. This is the Disneyland dad trap. It's the dad who tries to be the fun parent by buying the biggest gifts, breaking all the rules and planning extravagant trips, often to be seen as the favorite. Why is that so harmful? Well, while it might feel like you're just making your child happy, this behavior is usually about your own needs. The need to feel loved, to win against your ex, or to soothe your own guilt about the divorce. And kids feel the tension simmering under the surface. This habit completely undermines their mother, making it almost impossible for her to enforce normal rules and structure. It creates an unstable world where love feels like it has to be bought. And most importantly, it robs your child of what they actually need: normal, everyday life with you. Kids need to see you as the dad who will help with homework, enforce a bedtime, and have fun with them. They need connection and structure from both of you, because this was never about winning their love. They already love you, both of you. So what's the practical solution to this? Well, you have to shift your mindset from competition to collaboration. Your goal isn't to be the best parent, but to be part of the best parenting team for your child. Focus on giving your child a healthy mix of fun and responsibility. Your value as a father isn't measured in dollars or vacation. It's measured in quality time, listening, and providing a stable, loving home. Cook dinner together, read a book, go for a walk. Those are the moments that build a real lasting bond. And you know the kicker? It doesn't cost all that much money. So whatever money you save, you can actually take a course on becoming a better co-parent or becoming a better parent, and that is going to be the best gift you can give to your kid. Furthermore, try to communicate with your co-parent about big purchases or plans so one person doesn't feel constantly one-upped. And if you see her doing a great job, say so. Remember, your child doesn't need one perfect parent. They need two present, loving, and functional parents who are committed to their well-being. Now listen, if you've taken the time to listen so far and are finding this advice helpful, take a second to subscribe. And share in the comments below, what's the number one co-parenting challenge you're facing right now? You'll see that you're not alone in this. And if you want to shift your co-parenting dynamic from toxic to respectful, be sure to download the free guide to co-parenting communication at the link in the description below. So let's bring it all together. Using your child as a messenger, bad-mouthing their mom, battling over inconsistent rules, making your child a spy, and competing for their affection, those are all major co-parenting traps. And it's so easy to fall into these traps, especially with all the stressors of a separation. But the research is clear. Kids can and do thrive in shared custody homes. Even when there's been conflict, the key is to reduce their direct exposure to that conflict. And now look, I understand you can't control your ex, and maybe she's using one or more, maybe all 5 of those co-parenting traps. But you can always, 100% of the time, control your own actions. By choosing to change these habits, you're not just making life less stressful for yourself, you're actively building a more stable and secure world for your child. You're giving them the emotional safety they need to grow in a healthy, well-adjusted adult. And that is the most important work a father can do. On that, I want you to remember, when dads rise, kids thrive. Take care.